All right, foundation students. So today, when you're remote, you're going to do two things. You're first going to create a value scale using oil pastels, and then you're going to draw and shade a sphere using oil pastels. So kind of like we did in class with pencil, but this time with color. So you can use, I used a ruler to trace for the little rectangle on the bottom. So on this sphere, there's going to be the light sources on the top left, and then there's some reflected light on the bottom. Now, oil pastels are messy, so just go with it. It'll take a little bit of getting used to this media, which is why we're doing some practice stuff with it when you're home. We're going to use these on a 1-point landscape. All right, so I'm doing some light blue. I'm kind of making some streaks here so that the value kind of fades. The trick with, just with like with color, as with shading with pencil, the trick is having it transition slowly from one value to the next. So these kind of streaks help the color fade into the next. So I'm going from this kind of dark blue on the bottom right, fading upwards towards a lighter blue on the top left. And there's a little bit of reflected light on the bottom. What's nice about oil pastels is they're similar to paint. They have oil in them. Most paintings you see, famous paintings like Van Gogh's paintings, all are made with oil paint. So these oil pastels have oil in them, and they're thick, and they blend into each other. So I can use the pastel, and instead of using a blender tool, you're kind of mixing the pastels together by using the pastel on top. So I'm blending the white into the light blue just by kind of pushing it in on top of the paper. I'm going to add a little bit of black in for a shadow. This is in painting. If you take painting one or in drawing and painting, we talk about how when you add black to a color, that's called technically a shade. So in this value scale and in the sphere, we're doing tints and shades. Tints are the lighter values, shades are the darker values. Now, I messed up by starting with a sphere, but I'm not going to do it over again. So when you start shading, I would start with the value scale first, then do the sphere, because it just gives you a little bit of practice with the pastels first. So I just crisply kind of outlined that edge with the dark blue. So you don't have to do blue, especially if you are not using blue in your landscape, you don't think. I would use a color that you're definitely going to use. So a lot of you will probably have grass in your landscape, so green might be a good sphere to do some tints and shades with. Now I did a shadow underneath it as well. This is taking a while because I left the black pastel across the room, so I had to go grab it. So I'm going to go in with my, there we go. I'm going to go in with my black pastel now on top of the dark blue and mix some of that shadow in. And again, it looks kind of streaky until you blend with the oil pastel and you go back in. And it kind of smudges the colors together. This is a nice intro to paint, which we don't have a lot of time to get into because we've spent so much of the semester kind of working on drawing. All right, and then I'm going in with my black and adding it into my sphere on the bottom right, pressing down pretty hard on the bottom right to put in a shadow, but then I'm streaking it up so that it fades into the dark blue. If it just stops from black to blue, there's no transition. So these kind of streaks of black on top let the colors kind of transition from one to the next. It's really trial and error when you're learning to use a new media, so it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to. I'm going in with my light blue, pressing down on top of the dark blue. And then I'm going to start my, that's a decently shaded sphere. So now I'm going to start my value scale. Again, I would start with the value scale when you do this on your own. So on the right side, it's the lightest value, and then it fades into dark blue, which then fades into blackish blue. The pressure of your pastel can create value just like pencil, but also the layering of a darker color like black can create darker values. So on the far left, that's the darkest value, lots of black and blue mixed together, and then it kind of fades and gets a little bit more blue, fading into light blue, fading into really light blue by layering white and light blue together. So have a little bit of fun with the pastels. I know it's messy, but they're a fun media to work with once you kind of get used to them. And when you're done, take a good photo of your work, make sure it's rotated the right direction, and you're going to upload it to this assignment. It's assignment number 3 on Classroom. And again, we're going to use these oil pastels when we start on our landscapes. All right, nice job. So, or I'm sure you will do a nice job. So upload your work when you're done. Good luck.